Hey guys! Today we're getting physical. And no, not the sexy kind. If you're looking how to write that fun stuff, check my playlist. I write take no shit protagonists, and while writing like my mother before me, I knew I was including a fight scene. Now, I've been a high schooler and I've been in a fight or two, so I have an idea of what to include from experience. Cool, Naley, but what if I don't have experience? Then go kick someone's ass, jeesh. I'm kidding, don't do that. But I am curious if you're including a fight scene in your current novel or if you've done so in the past. Let me know down in the comments what kind of fight you wrote or want to write in your future work. I've written a basic brawl with no weapons, and I've done a fight with a sword. But I'd like to expand to a sci-fi type battle with laser weapons. Pew pew! What? That's the noise a laser gun makes. If the closest you've ever been to a fight is on the television screen, don't worry, I've got you with these 8 tips on how to write a fight scene. Number 1, make sure your fight benefits your story. Not all stories need a fight scene. Make sure the fight adds to your story and or character development. If your story does in fact need one and or benefits from one, keep it to 1 to 3 fight scenes max. I know that sounds weird if you're writing an action-packed story, but too many fight scenes will make your reader feel your story's dragging on too long and is lacking plot. I've read stories that start off in a fight scene and then continued on to be a fight scene every other chapter, if not every chapter. And while I understand that action is a part of the action adventure, the adventure still needs to happen. Number 2, consider your settings. This might be obvious, but when and where your story takes place is crucial to the kind of fight scene you'll write. A physical altercation with no weapons can be used in all types of stories and genres. But if your novel takes place in the feudal era, maybe they're using swords. Are you writing a fantasy? Can they use magic? Is it a contemporary and there's a lead pipe lying nearby? Think carefully of what's possible in your world and what's accessible to your characters for them to use to defend themselves in this fight. Number 3, choose your fighter. Now that you know what's possible and what weapons can be used based on your settings, decide what kind of fighter your characters are. This goes back to when you first created your character. Physical description and personal history is important here. Are they trained in martial arts, boxing, or any kind of self-defense? Do they exercise regularly, or have they never done a workout in their life? Are they scrawny or brawny? Size and weight matter in a fight. Professional fighters have height and weight classes for a reason. Be realistic. I adore shonen anime, but I know if I slap a dude bigger than me, he's not gonna go flying through 3 thick-ass walls. Do you know how many times Goku did that accidentally to Chi-Chi? I don't understand how she's still married to the dude. It's painfully annoying for your reader when your unskilled beanpole, never seen a weapon before in their life of a character, is kicking the ass of their nearly 300-pound opponent who's been trained to kill. It just doesn't make sense. When writing your fight, make sure your character reacts to the danger realistically within their means. If ducking and dodging is the best they can do, let them do it. The point of most fights is to survive. Number 4, do your research. When you have the type of fight your characters are gonna have in mind, make yourself familiar with all there is to know. Learn about stances, terminology, weapons, movements, and all the stuff required to write the fight scene you wanna have. Watch videos, read articles, and anything related to the method of fighting your characters will be involved in. If your character is using magic as a weapon in battle, consider what that magic can do to their counterpart and do the research. Will the magic cause explosions? And look up things in relation to bombs. Not how to build one, because you don't need the FBI knocking on your door. Will the magic disfigure them or transform them? Try to find information on metamorphosis or what it's like to break a bone. If your fight is a basic fisticuffs with no weapons, take notes from MMA fights, boxing matches, or what you feel most aligns with the fight you want to include in your story. Put in the proper research so you know what the hell you're talking about, even if you've never been in a fight. And who knows, maybe you'll learn a thing or two that'll help you fuck someone up in the future as a method of self-defense. Number 5, keep it short and simple. You're more than welcome to use all the knowledge you gain from your research, but use direct language. We don't need the full mechanics of the fight. Don't over-explain how your character used their right fist to punch the left side of their opponent's face. And don't overuse technical terms in your writing. They're distracting from what's important, the fight. Real fights are quick, unchoreographed, ugly, and dirty. Use active voice and strong verbs. Keep in mind, fights can ebb and flow like all your other scenes. You don't have to use only short and choppy sentences. After a lot of fast-paced action, slow it down by using one of the 5 senses. Like if a character takes a fist to the jaw, the metallic taste of blood would fill their mouth. Fights can go by in a blur, and adrenaline will block out most of what's happening when your fight or flight instinct kicks in. If your brain chooses fight, it's going into hyperdrive to make sure you survive. But there will always be little things from the altercation that'll stick out in your character's mind. Let those things be what evens out the pacing of your fight scene. Number 6, be realistic about dialogue. There's usually a conversation before the fight that usually leads leads to the fight, and sometimes there's conversation after a fight. But there is no time to talk during a brawl. There might be a shout of an occasional insult or statement like bitch, I hate you, fuck, no, damn, die, or whatever exclamation or grievance your character might have, but not enough for a monologue. The max anyone can ever get out in a fight is a sentence, and that's being generous. I'm personally exhausted by how often writers include extra dialogue in scenes that are physically strenuous. This isn't Marvel or DC universe. If you lose this fight, there's a chance you will die. You don't have time to talk and swing fists. You can include some light mocking, but again, keep it short so the readers don't forget the characters are supposed to be whooping each other's asses. Number 7, make it hurt and make it realistic. I can tell you from experience, getting hit hurts. So does being stabbed, burned, struck by a bullet, or having a limb severed. Luckily, those I don't know from experience. Well, maybe one. Make sure your character is injured during the battle, realistically and reasonably, and make sure the wounds affect them or heal as the story progresses. On top of that, make sure the actions are realistic. Your character can't have a broken arm or stab wound that doesn't hinder their efforts in a fight. They're gonna be in pain and they need to feel that pain. And once that fight is over, they have to recover in some way. Their wounds can't conveniently vanish during or after a fight scene. So just be consistent in hurting your characters. And last, number 8, know your stakes. If you put a fight scene or two in your story, make sure your reader knows what the stakes are for your character. Maybe the fight is the final boss battle and it's life and death. Maybe they're taking on a bully or defending someone's honor, and if they don't, they'll be harassed or humiliated. Or maybe it's the destruction of life as we know it if they don't fight. Regardless, make sure the stakes are clear. They have to do this and they have to win. If not, something worse will happen. This way, your reader will be more engaged when your protagonist starts getting their ass handed to them. It's also okay if there is no winner. For example, if the fight is disrupted for one reason or another, but there will need to be some kind of resolution between those characters. So likely another fight between them. But as I said before, keep the number of fights limited. My personal magic number is 3, but I don't like to push it often. They can also lose the fight if it's important to the stories or characters' development. And that's all I've got for you. Remember, the most important things to know are where your story takes place, who your characters are, and what they're capable of. Research as much as you can. Make the fight as realistic as possible when it comes to action and dialogue. Keep it reasonably paced, and know what's at stake for your character if they lose this fight. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more writing tips and advice. I post new videos on Sunday, so click that bell so you're the first to know when they're live. Visit my website and subscribe to my newsletter for exclusive behind the scenes on my upcoming novel Like My Mother Before Me, and follow me on social media where I spend too much time procrastinating. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time.